I am sitting in the morning at the diner on the corner. I am waiting at the counter for the man to pour the coffee, and he fills it only halfway. And before I even argue, he is looking out the window at somebody coming in. It is
Suzanne
always nice
Vega
to
is an
see
American
you, says
singer
the woman.
songwriter who's generally labeled as being folk. She started performing in 1982. She released her first album in 1985, and she's released 8 more since then. She's won quite a lot of awards, and her song Tom's Diner was used as a test song in development of MP3 compression technology, which earned her the title of the Mother of the MP3. Hi, my name's Dan. So, this was the second album by Suzanne Vega, and I've heard it before. I have got a copy of this and I've listened to it a few times, but I don't remember it that well, apart from the first 2 tracks, which I know pretty well. So, she's often labelled as folk, and I think this is for 2 reasons. The first one is that she uses acoustic guitar quite a bit, and it would seem that the label folk seems to get attached to people who use acoustic guitar. I would describe this as being singer-songwriter, but musically, the style is kind of fairly varied, rock slash art rock kind of area. It reminded me at times of all things, Fleetwood Mac. And I was kind of, it's a mid 80s, and it fits in the what I think of as the album oriented rock, which is the kind of stuff where people in the 70s had kind of pop, and then it kind of grew up, and people, some my sort of age, started buying albums, and there's a whole raft of people that were kind of particularly attractive in this area. People like Dire Straits and Sting and Tina Turner to some extent, and Annie Lennox, and it was kind of this more slightly more serious music, but still definitely kind of fairly immediate in appeal. Um, so for me, it's musically very acceptable, very nice at times. The production's clean. I want to talk about her voice. So she's got a nice voice. It's breathy, but it's still quite strong. It's somewhat distinctive. It gives it quite a lot of uh, feeling to it, expressiveness, and there's a kind of sweetness to her voice as well. I don't really know what I mean by that, but I'm not very good at describing voices, I think. She has an accent. She has a tendency to curl her R's. So in the song Luca, there's the line, "I live on the second floor." Now, I'm a Brit, as you can obviously tell, and when I say floor, I don't really pronounce the R on the end. And people with more American accents tend to put a bit of an R on the end, so floor, like that. But her pronunciation of those R's is even stronger, I think, than average, so floor. So there's quite a lot of that R going in there. I don't know why I'm particularly focusing on her on the R's there, but yeah. So anyway, what else am I going to say? Sorry, I've just lost my notes. There we are. So the best known song that I think of on this album is Tom's Diner, which is the first album. It was actually even better known for his remix, which had a drum beat on it. But so the album version here is completely a cappella. It's just her singing, and it's really sweet and a nice track. I actually, whilst I was listening to it, I was kind of counting in the gaps between when she's singing, trying to work out whether she shortened those gaps or if it was in time with itself. So if the count worked, and it did, which makes me think that she'd actually sung to some kind of backing track, and then they'd taken the backing track out and just had her vocals. But yeah, very nice, and it's definitely a kind of slice of life observation. The second track is Luca. I've always thought in the past that this is about a husband and wife, a relationship with violence in it. Apparently, it's about a child who's been hit, not a wife. but it's definitely about domestic violence. The rest of the tracks are similarly kind of observational stories, and I guess that's the other thing that makes it folk is that it's about people, and not kind of nostalgic though, but it's kind of about modern day people. So just going to pick out two or three more. So Calypso is about a character from the Odyssey story about Odysseus. It's just a small slice of it. Night Vision is I couldn't quite work out what it was saying, but it seemed quite creepy. Wooden Horse is quite odd. It's a song about a wooden horse coming to life, and I'm sure it's not meant to be literal, but I don't know what kind of is going on there. So some of it is easier to pick out and work out what's going on than others. I have to say the songwriting is rich. There's a real kind of a rich vein of songwriting here. And overall, I'd say I like it. I like the music. I like the songwriting. I like a voice. There's a lot for me to get out of this. So it's good. I like this album. Please tell me what you think of this album by leaving a comment. And that's it from me for now.
By day give thanks, by night beware. Half the world in sweetness, the other in fear. When the darkness takes you with her hand across your face,